Yeah, Martin, thanks for the invitation, and thanks for pointing it out. It is clear that if we develop software on our own, we're lost sooner or later. So, who of you is developing software actively? There are a few. And who knows the Eclipse Foundation? Okay, they're very good. Most people think of the Eclipse Foundation, I can show here, that Eclipse is only a Java IDE. And so maybe I'd like to question you, do you know what the Eclipse Foundation is doing beside the Java IDE? It's funny. I expected it because most commonly the people think of Eclipse, think of the great IDE. Okay, sometimes it has some drawbacks, but in most of the points it has a great ecosystem of tools and everything to develop Java programs. But Eclipse became an ecosystem in the last years, and what most people do not know, that the Eclipse Foundation has or covers a lot of other fields that you wouldn't imagine of. So I just pointed some out. So we have tools for bioinformatics, we have tools for biology, we have tools for chemistry, there are tools for physics, for chromatography and for sensor networks and so on. And since around 2008, the foundation switched its focus to so-called working groups. So most of you maybe know of the Internet of Things hype and everything that's around it. So who have you heard of machine-to-machine communication, Internet of Things? Raise your hands. Only a few. I would have expected that there are more. So it's about how machines can communicate to each other. For example, if you have sensors out in the field, how they can communicate with each other. But there are also other working groups, and the most interesting working group for you as geologist is the working group I will show you in the following slides. It's on the one hand the location tech working group and the science working group. The location tech working group has been founded since several years, I think 3 years. The science working group has been founded last year after 2.5 years of negotiation. And it's very interesting because if we have a look at the science working group, we have a lot of tools that are used by scientists, that are used by developers worldwide. So I will give you some short impressions here with the slides, some screenshots from the science working group, from the location tech working group, and then give you some impression why it's good to join the foundation and why it's good to join other people who develop software in the same way as we do, because if you start developing software on your own, you begin to develop software, but after a while legal issues come to the scene. And if you are in the broader scope of the foundation, you have other developers you can ask. You have, for the Eclipse Foundations, we have lawyers who take care of all these software issues and legal issues that come by distributing software. So it's a very important point. But the most interesting point is when I start to show you software, it's Bio7. That's a tool from one in Germany. It's maybe interesting for you. It's open source. It's for biological data. You can do image analysis and everything. So it's very flexible. It has also an integration to R, which makes it also very powerful to use within an Eclipse RCP application, R commands to analyze the data. So it's a neat tool. Next one, Eclipse. Eclipse is very famous from Sweden. It's about chemical editing. We humans we don't like to see columns and rows. we like to see pictures and everything, so it displays the data very in a very way. The next one, it's Dawn. It's from Diamond Light Source in UK. This is a Singleton facility. They are the founding members of the science working group and joined with their tools at Dawn the science working group at the Eclipse Foundation. They have 18 developers plus more, and everything what you see here is open source. So they do a great job to develop software for data analysts, for scientists. The next one, that's another founding member of the science working group. It's Oak Ridge National Laboratories in America, in the US. They do calculations of batteries, heat calculations, and of nuclear power plants and everything. Okay, it's maybe not your focus, but they have a lot of great visualization tools within their tool. It's also open source. It's the Eclipse Foundation. And what we see here is SEMA is from Marintech in Norway. They do calculations how those drilling platforms behave under rough seas and so on. So they have also a good tool stack. And that's my own tool. It's OpenChrom. It's about gas chromatography, spectrometry. So it could be used or is probably used in soil science if you like to analyze if you have alkanes or something else in your samples. You can use the software. It's also open source. You can read data from various vendors and so on. Yeah, that was a part for the science working group. That's one part. The next part is the location tech working group. I think this topic could be also very interesting for you because they have a lot of tools related to geology, to like what Google is doing, but in a different way. And I'd also like to show you some pictures how to use maps and to draw clouds on the maps, or what you see on the next slide. And what we see here, it's not, that's another issue we have at the Eclipse Foundation, that most people think, okay, Eclipse Foundation, Science Working Group, Location Tech Working Group, it's only about Eclipse RCP technology as a rich client platform technology. It isn't. The foundation has changed from the Java IDE, RCP IDE, to an ecosystem where also other tools, web tools, scripts and everything can be hosted. And those working groups are focused to host all these different parts from Java to Python and to other tools. So it's not RCP anymore. Yeah, you see here some other nice slides from this app. It's also interesting, or what we see here. Who of you know UDIC? Okay, that's good. There's some. There's also in my hometown one developer, Fragarsdorf. They are trying to bring UTIC also to the location tech working group of the Eclipse Foundation. And the interesting point is there to recombine the different packages and to recombine software from science working group, from location tech working groups, from machine-to-machine or Internet of Things working groups. Think of a solution where you have sensors out in the field that produce data or produce data out of your forests or lands or soils or something else, which you can then display on the location tech tools and analyze with the chemistry tools or something like that. So there are a lot of possibilities. Yeah, this is the next picture. Maybe Martin can tell a lot of more details about it. And we have we have those working groups started the last years or last year to have a place for software collaboration. I think it becomes more and more important that we don't stay on our own, but that we try to collaborate and that we try to ask other people, how do you do the things, and do you have software that I can reuse in my own software tools? And I think the Eclipse Foundation could be also a good place for collaboration also for geologists if they plan to develop or if you are developing software. And I think that's an important point, especially in regard to software sustainability, as heard before, that we have to say, okay, we need a place where we can develop our software and where we are sure that the software will be available in 5 and 10 years. And as a side note, I could mention that the Eclipse Foundation, or I could mention Airbus several years ago had a problem. They had they used software, proprietary software, and some companies were liquidated, and they had a problem. They can't maintain the software for their fleet anymore, and they can't maintain the software to run their Airbus airplanes. And that was a serious harm to them. And then they decided together with the Eclipse Foundation to say, okay, can we have a place where we develop software, where we develop open source software, where we are companies that pay money to develop open source software, but can rely on a system that enables us to use the software in 10 and 20 and also in 30 years in the future. And that's what the Eclipse Foundation is doing at the moment. They implement a system called Common Build Infrastructure and long-term support, where companies can trust on that their software will be usable in 10, 20, 30 or 50 years. Okay, 50 years is a bit long, but I think 20 or 30 years is in terms of software also a long time. And that's the main purpose of those working groups at the Eclipse Foundation. Yeah, I think the science or location tech working group could be a place for you to collaborate, and we can talk also afterwards at a beer or something else about which projects are there, what are the prerequisites to become an Eclipse member. So universities have free membership at the Eclipse Foundations. We others, also as my company, we pay a yearly amount to the Eclipse Foundation for our membership to enable others, also to the universities and single developers to maintain the code and to bring things forward, to pay lawyers, to take care of all the stuff we don't like to care of as developers. I don't like to care all of these lawyer issues and so on, so they are doing it. Yeah, that's all mentioned. It's not Java anymore, it's Python and other languages are part of the Eclipse Foundation. And if you have questions for location tech and science working group, sure, you can ask me, but that's not me, that's Andrew Ross. He is responsible for both working groups, and he answers questions, and he is there for you. You can also register the mailing list if you go to Science Eclipse or Location Tech Eclipse.org. And you can ask him everything you like to ask him, but you can ask also me if you have questions, especially tonight at the beer, since when we're out. Here are the URLs to the mailing list, where you can register. There are news, what's hot, and everything. So it's quite nice to get informed. And yeah, I'm at the end of my presentation. I'd like to thank you, and hopefully see you in the next time at the Eclipse Foundation. Thank you.